It was just about a month ago that I found out that this old building behind me that used to be a hospital is where I was born. I had always thought it was Mont Carmel East because it had the St. Anne's name on it, but I'm told that it is right here on Brighton Road, 2 streets south of the southern border of the district that I have served in my life and want to continue to serve. This is a community that has grit, understanding of love, compassion, and a great level of faith and work ethic, and perseverance in the face of the toughest struggles any man or woman has ever faced. This is the community that I come from, one that I have served and want to continue to serve. My parents were 2 new American students that met each other on the campus of The Ohio State University. They fell in love. They had 3 children. I'm the last of the 3 boys you saw them carrying around back in those days. They were known as pioneers when it came to African drumming and dancing back in the 70s and in the 80s. Upon my return to the state, I was able to graduate from Columbus Public School, Eastmore High School. Go Warriors. And after that, I attended college at Western Kentucky University where I played football and came back home as a member of 2002 National Championship football team, the only national championship the school ever won. And just last year, my teammates and I were just inducted into the school's Hall of Fame. After returning from college, I joined the Democratic Party by invitation from Stephanie Tubbs Jones, the first African-American congresswoman in the history of the state of Ohio. God bless her soul. And ever since then, I've been serving the Democratic Party. Part of the things I've done, 1, saving rec centers in 2009 when the city had budget crisis and shut down 12 rec centers. I was able to start a public-private partnership that saved those rec centers. 2, after the shooting in Dallas, I was the one that called council members to make sure that a racist sign on the police station on 11th and Cleveland, only one in the city, was taken down, explaining to them that it was not the best form of police and community relations. 3, I'm the one that has been traveling to the State House and to Capitol Hill advocating for working class people in my community, advocating on issues like Medicare for all, issues of support for public education, and issue of reinstating the 33 Glass-Steagall, issues that make sure that people in my community get their fair share of service. This campaign and movement is not just about me or just about my campaign. It's about the state of Ohio. And more importantly, it's about the 25th House District and those who live in that district, people like myself. You can join the fight by 1, sharing this video so that everyone in this district can see this video. 2, go on our website and join us, volunteer with us, or chip in $1 or $2 so that messages like this can get out further and faster. And 3, tell somebody that you know in the 25th House District to vote Mayo McKinday on March 17, 2020 for state representative in the 25th House District. I cannot wait for us to win this campaign and this race so that I can start representing you at the Ohio State House. I have never failed you, and I will never fail you. You can always count on that.
I know you never hurt me, but that's okay. 'Cause once you hear my pipe popping, you're gonna walk this way. Now I sound different, nothing quite like the rest, which indicates to all you industry insiders.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition, to another installment of Hashtag Fade to Black. I am your host, Donnell Monte Morris. Right now, it's just me. But guess what? I'm gonna hold it down like I always do. Basically, the show up today is going to be a continuation of last week's show, where we were just having a conversation about what we think is the issues with the Black community, and it was a discussion that we we're going to continue on today. So expect the panel to be coming in a little bit later. As y'all can see, I'm outside again remotely. So let's jump on in. And y'all know what it is. It is the opening statements, which, hold on, let me get the right one here. This thing is, hold up. Apologies about that. Here we go. That's the caption right there. I need to separate these much more. But other than that, y'all know the deal. The opening statements. But before I go into the opening statements, hopefully y'all weekend has looked great, as well as shout out to our panel member Mayo Mayo, if you're watching this right now, our hearts, thoughts, minds, everything from the show is going to you into your campaign. We're going to help Mayo cross the finish line, not just cross the finish line, but cross the finish line, the victor. So anybody who's in that district, vote Mayo McKimbey into Congress. Vote him in as your representative of the House. He's a progressive. He's not a corporate Democrat, and you definitely don't want a crazy Republican up in there running your, messing up your state. So make sure you vote Mayo as your House representative for the 25th district of the House. BC just came in, but I'm gonna go and be the first at bat for the opening statements. All right, so I've been thinking a while about what I wanted to talk about for this opening statements, and I realized that I've been holding a lot of things back. And I said this year, a lot of things that I usually will hold back and find the right time to say it, I'm not gonna do that anymore. So it's about the cops out there. Cops. Anybody who's watching this right now, if you're associated with the cop or who is a police officer, listen to this real good. I want all the good ones and the bad ones, and the ones who just don't care. Y'all should be watching, because I'm about to give you the hard truth that nobody's telling you. So here we go. We don't give a damn if you feel like your life is threatened. We don't give a damn. Well, not we. I don't give a damn if you feel like politicians are always on your back for this and all that stuff. I don't care if you want to get back home safe to your family. You want to know why? Because all those things that you're complaining about, and that's only just 3, people that look like me care about that mess too, and you didn't care. You didn't bat an eye. You didn't say, what if what I'm doing is wrong? That's going to get this person back home. What am I doing to earn the distrust of the community? Because you don't put yourselves in other people's position, because you got the thing called the law that has your back. So if you didn't give a damn about all the people that looks like me, even people that look like you know who I'm talking about, white people that got themselves killed under your watch, you didn't give a damn about their family. So why the fuck should we give a damn about you? Why should we care about you? You put on the damn uniform. You put your hand up. You say you were sworn to protect the community. Like myself as a military service member, I put my hand up to defend this country, foreign and domestic. But unfortunately, for some reason, a police officer got more jurisdiction than the guy in the uniform that goes overseas that do much more than the police officers. But I digress, because a lot of the people that leave the military goes to the police, become police officers. Crazy to me, but hell, to each his own. You have to ask yourselves, who are the real victims? You don't think that us average American citizens don't come home, we're stressed out, where we got people up our ass paws, and we just want to choke the shit out of them? Compared to what you go through, you got a luxury. Luckily for me, being in the military, I do get a 15% discount, 10% discount. I'm lucky if I do get a discount. Sometimes, majority of times, I don't even ask. But you, officer, y'all got more benefits than me as a military service member. I remember going to a freaking Jack in the Box around here, And my battle, who knew somebody up in there, said that we usually give military 10%, but we're gonna give you the police discount. And he was asking, what's the police discount? What they get? Oh, they get 50% off. 50%? Oh, yeah. So imagine what other discounts they get all around here, or where you eat, or where you sleep at. Imagine how much their discounts are. Just show the badge. So, officers, y'all get away with murder every single day. Even with y'all little rinky-dink charges. When you sit there, you suspend one of your own for doing wrong and still getting paid. Ladies and gentlemen, administrative leave means that they're still getting paid. Like, for example, I just took leave last week, Thursday and Friday. I still got paid. That's administrative leave. Now, don't get me wrong. They do sacrifice their own when they do wrong. But the people that really deserve it either get retired or get administrative leave. So, police officers, I don't want to hear your bitching and moaning and complaining. As much as just service members we know what we signed up for. And yes, do we still complain about the rules and all that stuff? Yeah, but guess what? We still do it. But the only difference is we're not killing everyday people that don't look like us. Think about that. Y'all drive around every day in your cop cars or in your motorcycles, riding around, just looking for trouble. It seems like it. Some of y'all so damn gung-ho. I just watched a video on my home state, Virginia, in Fairfax, Virginia, where a young kid was just video recording the police doing something wrong. And guess what happened? One of the officers put a gun out at him. Where's your weapon? I don't have a weapon. And then the other guy, I think it was like 3 police officers, then he comes over there, guns like this to the kid. But no, we want to feel sorry for y'all. Good cops, where are y'all? You know, I'm sick and tired of asking. The apple doesn't drop far away from the tree. You're with them. I said what I said. Because eventually when the shit hits the fan, if you continue to stand next to a person, guess what? That shit's going to be on you too. And I'm going to say this, and I don't care how y'all take it. There's going to come a time where no matter how much freaking military grade stuff that the military had, or how many weapons, high grade weapons they had, when all of society, all the community gets together and they get pissed off and they get mad, you know what's going to happen? Your little gun, your little militia ain't going to be enough for the millions. And I ain't talking about no damn protests. Because I never heard of a freaking M16 or M4 or a 50 cal, which I know y'all don't have a 50 cal, but something close to that stopping millions of people. There's only going to be so much y'all can do. Because I don't know, a group of militia weapons can defeat millions of people with guns and with weapons, probably the same caliber as yours, and more organized. That day's coming. It ain't gonna be a day where we all go come like that. What's that commercial that got not one of the Jenner girls, not Kendall, the oldest one, where she made that tone deaf Pepsi commercial where you had protesters and the police, and she handed him, a police officer, a Pepsi. It ain't gonna be that. It ain't gonna be that. It's gonna be your bloodshed and police officers. I'm telling you, it ain't gonna be y'all coming out looking strong. Trust me. Look what happened in India. Look at how they toppled their freaking government. Look at how they went after their president. That's a whole country. You don't think that's not going to happen here? I think it's going to happen sooner or later. I'll tell you this, and then I'm going to pass the ball to hand the floor over to Beast. I'm going to say this. I believe that's going to happen sooner than this so-called civil war that everybody the right wingers and the conspiracy theorists are saying. I believe that people can finally wake up and take it to the police officers and looking for blood, and eventually going to get it more than the civil war, imaginary civil war. Think about that. And with that, I yield the floor. Mr.
Good evening. Excuse me. If that was annoying to some people, I apologize. And I understand. Everybody got something about it. A church of a fun. It's a little quirk, if you will. But we never really take these things into consideration when we're trying to balance our relationship. Balance our little quirks and less than desirable traits that we want someone to tolerate. Well, in order for them to tolerate our shit, we gotta be willing to tolerate their shit. Because let's be honest, nobody's perfect. We've all fallen short of the glory of God. We are flawed and we are fallible. But it's in that frailty that we strive for this heroin-like dragon of perfection. Just always out of this grasp, like a brass ring of success. Whatever looks below for your turn, you don't reach for it. Basically saying that nobody's perfect. You got some shit about you, they got some shit about you. Let's try to balance these things out, or at least have both parties agree to work at it and make it attempt. Especially in the case when the children are involved, third party. I had a conversation with two single parents, one male, one female, and they're giving their input on dating with a child. And I myself am not a parent, but I've dealt with a lot of them. From a platonic to a more passionate understanding. So I kind of speak from the aesthetic of the stepdad. They had to let both of them know that, and coming in with no kids, we have to accept that is y'all third parties there. We got to take into consideration before we even allow ourselves to see the children. Because once we see the children, then we got to start questioning the parents and seeing how that's going to balance up with our parental upbringing. Like myself, I'm known for discipline people. That's how I was raised. Excuse me. If you were under my care, I reserve the right to discipline you to whatever degree is applicable to your actions. So it's a stern talking to. Might jack you up one at a time. But if you want to start having tantrums and commissions and property damage, well, yeah, that's quick one. Quick sit your little ass there. But I let that be known to all parents that leave their children alone. But that is a last ditch effort. But it's still an option nonetheless, and I'll be remiss if I just express these things before being put in a situation where it may come after. Because that's not what I strive for, but it's necessary. Don't get it twisted. I'm that village to help raise that child, because I came from that village. These are things that I express to women when you're in these type of relationships. Get that type of understanding to balance out and get that real relationship like equality across the board. And if you're not willing to do that, then you're not willing to acknowledge your own bullshit and see how there's certain things that you may have to switch up or let be known up front to kind of weed out the misplaced potential for those that you desire due to your conflicting upbringings and ideology. You definitely got to make sure to have these things acknowledged and understood within yourself first and foremost, and then find the proper wording, the respectful wording to express that in a tone that has more logic and ration than emotion. No matter how you feel, you don't want the person to hear these thoughts to feel as though this statement has no kind of logic to it. It's just straight, I feel this way. And it's basing emotion and that puts them in their emotions and then plus the feeling of that. Yeah. But to summarize, always be willing to acknowledge your own bullshit if you're expecting someone out there to put up with that bullshit. If not, you might want to get rid of that bullshit. Or at least clean that bullshit up to a more pleasant and fragrant presentation. And with that, I use it.
And just like that, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, my bruh, Beach Johnson, I told y'all they're gonna be coming in a little bit late and everything, so here he is. So first, let's shout out our sponsor, Cheddar Boy Popcorn. They've been sponsoring us, been a partner with us for a very long time, so we thank them. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you know a little something. So earlier today, I went out to the 7-Eleven near here to play my winning tickets, and I came across this little booth outside the store, and I told them that I was going to show off their stuff. And so this is basically this is a strawberry lemonade flavor, and they use, let me see, sea moss as an extract in this, meaning that they use no sugar. And just tasting this is, oh my gosh, it is so good. So big shout out to them. Sea moss lemonade.
Diabetic juice.
Yes. So here you go. So for anybody who's local here in the Seattle area or where I'm at, the Kent area, they actually got this in 7-Eleven stores right now. They're $4.99 and they are worth the price. And that's a lot of me saying that, you know. We drink a lot of juices, you know. I think of Minute Maid. What other lemonade drinks you got out there? You got so many. So, like I said, Minute Maid.
Most when it comes to black folk, lemonade is usually like you got the official lemonade, like the Nestle, like the Minute Maid. But then you just got the storefront and your smoke shop.
Right.
You don't know that's like the $99 drink. That lemonade be, oh my God.
Yeah.
You wish you could get a 6-pack of the stuff.
Right. And so that right there give you that vibes without all the extra additives and other ingredients that some of us can't pronounce. I know I can and don't understand. So this actually got no more than, as I'm counting, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 ingredients. If y'all look on back of any of your lemonade, no matter if it's Minute Maid or some other brand, I guarantee you will find at least 30 ingredients that's up in there. This one only has 9. So y'all can find them on Instagram. I'm putting their information right there. So as you can tell, the lemon stands for the D. So look them up on Instagram and Facebook. I told them I would shout them out. So I'm gonna go ahead and take a little sip, even though I already had a couple sips. They already gave me freaking samples, and I was like, man, so good. And it's so good, man. I wish I could ship something out like this to you. I actually gave one to my girlfriend. I actually just eliminated. So once again, shout out to these brothers doing their thing. Pretty dang good. They was actually doing a good business marketing. It's like, what's the best way to market your stuff? Sit out, you know, have a freaking booth in front of the freaking store that's selling it and just give out free samples. I said that's pretty ingenious.
The legal term is pop-up shop.
Pretty good, and it will go nice with some Cheddar Boy popcorn. I wish I had some Cheddar Boy popcorn to go with that. But other than that, so it's a continuation of last Monday of the conversation we had. So Billsley will be coming in soon, ladies and gentlemen. So right now he's doing some other stuff. So one of the things that y'all talked about was the Asian crime bill, and I actually had to do my research, and thank goodness Roland Martin actually did that for me. And so, because people got this misconception of the Asian crime bill is only for Asians, which is actually not true. Asian crime had influence on the bill, but it wasn't pertaining to them. Because anybody remember during COVID, there was a lot of Asian crimes that was happening. Because then
because of the frequency of the area.
Yeah, and then you also got Mr. 45. I don't even want to call him a Mr. Just 45, who was making
Call
all
him
these
Orange
claims.
45. Orange
Yeah,
Guy 45.
yeah. He was making all these claims about about COVID being from China, which I'm not even gonna dig deep on
It's
that
got
one.
the agents. Y'all can't decide over y'all there.
So it was all incited by him, and that's when the Asian crime started to rise, and it was just crazy. Even a couple instances that happened over here, which had me looking out for my girlfriend's mom because we was going out without masks, and I'm sitting there like I don't want nothing to pop off because I'm gonna be ready. I'm not even gonna lie. I had a knife with me. I keep a knife on me. I need to keep a nine on me, but I keep a knife on me because I don't want nobody to freaking act up because I will act a fool too. I will gut somebody like a freaking deer. So, but other than that,
Mm-hmm.
that's when the crime bill happened. But one thing people don't understand is the bill is not pertaining to Asians. It's for everybody, which I do have the video that Roland Martin actually spills, and he also has his panel. And the crazy thing is, all things I've been preaching, Roland Martin is saying on this piece, which is crazy. I think Roland Martin's watching our show because a lot of things you be saying, been saying up in the show too as well. So I think he's watching. So Roland, if you're watching, hi, how you doing? So, and that's one thing I wanted to tell you too, Beast. Like some shows I've been watching, I've been seeing them, trying, take some stuff that we've been saying and all that stuff. So I want you, before I deep dive into what I really wanted to say, I wanted to let you know that and get your take on it.
At this point in time in my life, it's just a testament to the randomness that is my brain, to where I say things on a insane yet intelligent level that's so profound that I am often quoted or cited cited as the source of plagiarism.
That's crazy.
It is. To Roland, I don't want to make that type of assessment about you publicly, but I know from personal experience that if those that can legally attest to knowledge of my perspective on the world and opinions, how they are versed, I'm pretty sure I could convince reasonable doubt on a court. Just saying. So to avoid all that, and to avoid me being salacious and a troll, we extend a co-op since you're already considering questionable forms of plagiarism and joke fest, if you will. I was just appeased to you, sir, podcast of the podcast, black man to black man, enlightened gentleman to enlightened gentleman. But let us combine our thoughts and get down to the base.
Yeah, I think Roland Martin's a very decent man. I think he would consider it, because we're not one of those haters. I admire Roland Martin, but before I show this piece, I don't want nobody to think that I'm rooting for Roland Martin. Like, everything Roland Martin says is correct. No, because there's a lot of things I respect. Number one, number two, there are a lot of things that Roland Martin talk about that I disagree with. But majority of the time, this man been in journalism for over 35 years. Somebody with that amount of experience, you don't question them that much. They have to have not just like 10 pieces, but if they have pieces wrong back in the day, that means that they've been doing it wrong the whole entire time. And that's hard to find anything of Roland Martin's work to be like, oh, he's a fraud and all that stuff. So he actually pulled up the bill. Let me go ahead and put the video up. I wish I had Billingsley here to see it.
The gun.
Hold up, here we go.
In Buffalo, New York.
Let me go ahead and pause it. So So to give the context, the details about the video that I'm about to show you, he's going to use the example of the Buffalo shooter on what they got charged on, I believe, and prove, and also he will go through the bill step by step. So as you know how me and Beast do, if y'all been rocking with us a long way, we're going to have our stops in the show. Stop the show, but stops in the video to give our thoughts. So as I think Beast went to go do something real quick, so I'm just go ahead and let the video play, and I will stop to explain much more on what I feel about what's been said in this piece. But here we go.
Stores indicted today on 27 federal charges. Peyton Gendon is charged with 14 violations of the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Hate Crimes Prevention Act and 13 firearms offenses in connection with the May 14th mass shooting. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland said the Justice Department fully recognizes the threat that white supremacist violence poses to the safety of the American people and American democracy. We will continue to be relentless in our efforts to combat hate crimes, to support the communities terrorized by them, and to hold accountable those who perpetrate them. On June 1st, a Buffalo grand jury returned a 25-count indictment against Gendron. All right, so let me repeat that again for all the people out there who sort of missed that. And that is, he was indicted for violating the Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Hate Crimes Prevention Act. Now, if you listen to a bunch of these people out here on Twitter as well as YouTube, who keep yelling, "Oh, we need a anti-black hate crimes law."
So now what Roland Martin is going to get into is the thing I've been saying on this show for a hot minute. For anybody on the outside looking in, the pro-conscious movement, who just think that black people's not getting their fair share, we should have laws for us, and think that we should get our reparations. And I'll always be saying that you cannot get what you want if you don't have people on the inside. You cannot do all these things if you don't have people in politics or people that are in position of power locally. So that's what Roland Martin's about to get into, and Beast just came in, so let's continue.
That's what the act is. Oh, but then they get upset because they say, oh, because the white guy who's gay is on the same bill. Y'all, they were killed in the same year. They were killed in the same year. So it boggles the mind, Greg, to listen to these people who go, I mean, last night, Luther Campbell had this Twitter Spaces conversation where they wanted me to come on. I was like, I'm not dealing with them FBA nuts. But I'm sitting here and all these people keep yelling, and I saw some tweets today, how we need a anti-black hate crimes law. When literally there are laws right now to deal with the very issue. So what do you make of all these people, Greg, who keep saying, no, it needs to be, I even had one person tell me, no, it needs to be only for black people. Because they are.
Yeah, go ahead.
What Robin's basically saying is what Obama tried to say as smoothly as he could when it came right down to his impact as the first acknowledged black president of the United States. As like, it's only so much you can do outright, and you're black. So, and they're not going to acknowledge the truth. So no matter what they had to believe to get your black ass up there, they're not going to believe the truth to let you do what you need to do for your black skin, like everybody else. Basically, over the years and over through litigation, the easiest way for black folks to have access to those type of judicious laws is by way of these hate crimes that are stated and defined off of one particular incident or one series of tragic incidents. Like you have your Amber Alert. That was off a little white girl. But if your little black baby gets snatched up, trust and believe they got set up for you. There's Megan's Law, little white girl. Asian hate bill is just a hate bill that came as a result of a rise in actual what they perceived as racially motivated hate toward the Asian community. You're not going to get them to admit that for black folks. I'll fucking be real.
Yeah, and see, because Roll Marks mainly talked about that group.
But I'm gonna take it a step further.
Yeah.
But Roland I'm gonna take a step further. Roland wants to take it there. All y'all to claim and think y'all black ain't black. That's why reparations will never truly be a benefit to all of us westernized, perceived, stereotypical black. There's a genetics because of slavery. Most of us there's a good portion of y'all that's under 49% black. And under half of them. Instead of over that. No matter how black your features are. Tyson Beckford is one of the blackest niggas out there to be known for his beauty and his attraction, his physical appearance. And that nigga is half Asian. Same goes for Dave Chappelle. But they look as just chocolatey and crispy and crunchy as any other nigga off their field. But they genetics say something completely different.
That's a great point because Chef Ramsay actually had a show where he was competing against two chefs, and it was like on different levels of different type of kitchens. And one of the females, not one of the females, but one of the chefs is a woman. By looking at her, you'd be like, "Oh, she a sister." Nope, she's half black, and I think she was half Korean or Chinese. I gotta talk to my girlfriend about it, but because she's a military brat. Her father and her mom met on a military base, and I think, like I said, I think it was in Korea or something like that. So I might have to do my research. But all in all, she's a military brat. She's half black and half Asian. And you literally had, like with Tyson, who you was talking about, you literally have to look at his face and you can tell the features like, oh snap, I can kind of see it in his face. His face, his eye structure and all that stuff. You can actually look like, oh, okay. Same with her. Like from a distance, you be like, oh yeah, she's a sister. But then when you get closer, you can actually see the features. Because if you put a picture of her mom, I'm like, damn, she looked more like her mom. But she got the shape of her head is like her father's. I'm going all like into it. But what I'm saying is, Beast, you are absolutely correct because let's say, knock on wood, reparations is a thing. Let's say we get our reparations.
23andMe will be your application.
Right. Like what's the requirements? What is the
percentage? How low, how high?
Percentage? Yeah. What's the percentage of black do you have to be? Do you have to have ancestry? Well, obviously you have to have a lineage to a slave family that was here, and so a lot of requirements, a lot of things have to go up into it. But also people don't understand that even Representative Jackson from Texas, bless her soul, she actually put out legislation of reparations. She actually put it out there, and people like Tariq Nasheed and people on that side was criticizing and demonizing her. And I'm like, she's basically doing what you're asking for. She's putting her first step. Maybe y'all just don't like her because she's a Democrat and that she's in the system, and you don't like her. But at least she's the one who's putting the foot forward in a position of power to put it up to Congress and be like, look, here's the bill that we created. This is what I what I'm putting up on the floor. And that's only so much she could do because I believe she is a ranking member, but once again, you got a chain of command. You know, just because you're a manager, yes, you got sway, but you don't got no more sway than a senior manager. As well as the senior manager, he or she can only do so much because you got the regional manager. And then the regional manager got to answer to freaking corporate, the headquarters. So lots of things gotta, you have to have the people who's in position of power that are willing to vote with you and have that same motivation so they can push your agenda forward. And that's the one thing that the freaking, and because what Roland Martin is talking about also is, I'm not going too far off the track. He also brought up with Uncle Luke, because I actually listened to it, the Tariq Nasheed part where he clipped when he came in. And I thought it was a very informal type of like setting. It was on I think Clubhouse. And he brought up Marcellus Dixon. And I brought up Marcellus Dixon up too as well, which Tariq is trying to champion, saying that Marcellus is bringing out, he brought reparations to the mainstream. And I'm sitting there like saying, no, he didn't. And I believe a Democratic strategist who brung facts, brung the truth, literally asked Tariq Nasheed, I'm paraphrasing. He literally asked Tariq Nasheed, are you literally saying that him losing is a good thing? And I understand where Tariq was coming from. Tariq was like, well, he put out reparations. Now it's not a conversation that people should not ignore. But I remember 4 years or 5 years ago, Ados was the one that was pushing reparations, and they had a lot of freaking politicians talking. Ados was the one that really run reparations back in the talks, which motivated Jackson to put in a reparations bill to Congress, present to Congress. So I won't say Marcel Dixon did anything that shook up the world.
Was not a play.
And the reason why he lost and why his loss is not that significant is because he was running a campaign that only gears only to black people, which, I get it. I understand. But you can't win it on the black vote alone. You think all these other politicians, white politicians, win on the white vote alone? That's crazy. No, because they got to get black votes or some lack thereof. They got to get the Asian vote. They got to get the Indian vote. They got to get the Hispanic vote. You cannot win the election on just what your complexion looks like. You're not going to win elections like that. Period. It's like a freaking pie. Unfortunately, some people going to get bigger. Well, some people will get bigger pieces. Some people will get smaller pieces. But then also depends on who's making the pie.
Some people want more. Some people want less. Some people don't want none at all.
Right. And then also you gotta think about it like this too. It's like you will feel some type of way if your mama served you Brussels sprouts. Take up just the worst dish that your mom ever made, and you didn't want to have it.
Better be drenched in butter with some cheese on the side.
Right. Like you ate your food, but your brother or your sister didn't finish her food. And now your mama is sitting there saying, well, hey, who wants some dessert? I got some pumpkin pie. Or let me take that back. Sweet potato pie. I got some sweet potato pie with some ice cream. And one of your brothers and sisters that didn't even finish their food sitting there saying, "No, can we have can we have those popsicle sticks up in there, please?"
You get nothing and you will enjoy it.
Right. You will want to crack him in the face, right? You will be like, why should you say anything?
Well, I'm personally clapping while we finish.
Right. And the thing is, this is one of the things that I've been trying to say on this show. And once again, I just want to show this out like I did earlier in the show. Check them out on Facebook, Instagram. But that's why I've been preaching on the show. paying your taxes is not saying much. It's not saying a thing. If you are not doing your civil duty of knowing the politics in your community, number one, and number two, actually voting, going out to vote. And I'm not, and they just think about the federal. People understand President Biden just didn't get there because he was a senator. He had a grassroots campaign. He started off local. If you look at all the history of you can look at any politician in the history of this country, and you see majority of them started as freaking lawyers, prosecutors, DAs. You got a couple here that were judges. So we need to stop looking at the hair of the snake. Well, let's go ahead and chop the hair of the snake. When you chop the hair of the snake ain't dead. It's like chopping the tail of a freaking lizard. That's what's going to happen. That lizard's tail is going to grow back.
Number one, you got to get to the head. And snakes, by general understanding, are a very ranged and indeterminate range of length to it. So first you got to figure out what type of snake it is.
Right.
So you can get a better idea about how long it is, so you can figure out how far you got to travel to get to the fucking head. And in the case of like pole constrictors, even if you get to the head and you ain't took care of the rest of the goddamn body that's strong enough to crush you 4 times over, the head is strong enough to swallow you whole. Like a girl that's trying to get her baby daddy on All-Star Weekend. And she meant every word of it.
Yeah. And so
what you gonna do? What you gonna do, brother?
And I just realized I just put the wrong freaking caption at the bottom. But yeah, but let's go ahead and continue on with Roland Martin try to say. So, Beast, I really want you to jump on in with this as well, because I already seen the video, but this video is mainly for you to like get your side to it. But yeah, let's continue.
Let's talk here, bro.
Convinced the Asians got a hate crime law, and they didn't. But it is the craziest thing to keep listening to these black people yell this constantly.
Yep.
I think you're on mute, Greg.
My bad. Yes, sir. Thank you, Ron. I will leave this, of course, to Reese, who has been preaching this from the rooftops to anybody who would listen to deal with this question of weaponized ignorance. I think that's one of 3 strains. One strain is the righteous, legitimate strain, the sentiment that we have not been served well in this settler state. But we know that since we were brought here. So that feeling, I think, is honest. You know, we want something for us. We should be redressed. And I don't have any smoke for that.
Call it holy indignation.
I share it. Then there is...
What's that?
That's what I call it, holy indignation. Hi, I feel as though, you dig what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Let's continue.
The strain that is a lot less difficult, a lot more difficult to grapple with, and that is the strain of miseducation. And, you know, as a teacher, I look at our young people and I just despair for them. And even as I'm with them all the time, daily, in trying to deal with this question of education, because technology and all the shifts in the society have basically overwhelmed us with ignorance. And so there's not even 5 seconds to read a bill or to know even that a bill exists or understand even how the law works, as you, who have the patience of Job, did indeed dip into that conversation with Uncle Luke and them the other night and walk people through and said, we need a new schoolhouse rock. And even in that little engagement, Roland, I saw in the wake of it, there were people who echoed
I was just fucking thinking that shit too.
Walked through, and I realized that can change minds. But then that leads to the third one. And again, I'll leave this to Reese. We have real enemies out there. We have real enemies who are elevating and amplifying the voices of some hardcore, straight-up con men like Tariq Nasheed and others, and those who may have good intentions like Uncle Luke, but also might not have good intentions. Where's the revenue stream coming from? But the open enemies are weaponizing it and overwhelming our people to the point where can't nobody tell nothing about nothing. And then in the middle of that, you drop some foolishness and the thing just grows like mold in the dark.
This right here, Reese, that I'm looking at.
Now, for everybody who don't know, Professor Greg Carr. Now, he's not just no professor. He's the professor at one of the great HBCUs of Howard University. So he's not just some random professor.
He's a learned fellow.
Right. And not to mention, this man have sat with people like Nick Cannon, even though I think Nick Cannon sometimes his logic is kind of reversed. But
let leave that boy be.
Right. So him and he was on Nick Cannon's show. This man has sat down with a lot of black conscious people. So Greg, I'm telling you, this man, I think if I had to compare him to one person, he's like Cheech. I would love to have him on the show. Him and Cheech are he's like the male version of Cheech. I put it to it like that. So that man got some credentials. So I just wanted to put that out.
Dude. Confirmation. It's like sound like they need to bring back. I'm doing so good. I'm on real good. As soon as he fixes his mouth, say, yep, we on the same page, bro.
Mm-hmm. So I see a lot of things he was saying that you was agreeing with. I was like, oh, okay. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. I think he's going to lead off to one of the sisters.
Right now. Let me go ahead and connect this to our Roku device so I can show the people on the screen. This right here that I am pulling up is remarks from Attorney General Eric Holder on the 10th anniversary of this particular bill. Now, again, for all the people out there who keep yelling, hollering, and screaming, we need an anti-black hate crimes law. This is what this actually says. The Matthew Shepard and James Byrd Jr. Hate Crimes Prevention Act of 2009 provides funding and technical assistance to state, local, and tribal jurisdictions to help them to more effectively investigate and prosecute hate crimes.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is actually in the bill, what he's saying.
Yeah.
Now, in that conversation with Uncle Luke and Tariq, one of the Democrat strategists actually told him what was in the bill, but Tariq was basically shutting it off like that's not true. That's not true. And I think it was very disingenuous for Tariq Nasheed to do something like that.
So it's not true.
Right. I mean, it's very disingenuous where if it's like it's to me, it's saying that it's not sunny outside. You know, man, it's not sunny outside. What do you think it is?
Like I said, he didn't say it first. It don't count.
Right. And so when it's in the bill, like one of the craziest things that you can do in any argument is knowing that you're wrong and you won't admit that you're wrong. And Beast, you've been on the show for the longest, and you know me. If I get it wrong, I come up on here and say I am wrong, and I will apologize, and I will say I will correct myself in the future. But if I am right, I will stand on it. I will stand on it, and I will be like, y'all need to do y'all research and all that. And I think not only just me, but I believe every single one of our panel members have that integrity on this show. Y'all wouldn't be on the show if y'all didn't have that integrity. But my point is, you just cannot say that, oh, it's not true when it's true. And you got the truth to back it up. You got the evidence right there. I mean, unfortunately, you got, like I started off my opening statement, like I started off my opening statement where you got the freaking police. You know, you got police officers getting away literally with freaking murder, and people sit there and say, nah, you know, police, you know, they go through a lot. But what about the person they just killed? Or the person that they injured them for the rest of their lives? Now they got PTSD for the rest of their lives. Every time now when they see anything that resembles a policeman, They're going to always remember that time that you put them in the headlock, that you shot them, that you manhandled them on the ground, that you tased them, and that you harassed them.
Yeah. People don't forget to ask them.
Right. That happened. But the police and the judges and the powers that be, because this all comes in a round circle when you're not involved in your politics or putting people in position that have the same agendas that you have, when they are put into power, things like this are always going to happen. They're going to be like, while you sitting there looking at the TV, they over there looking at the newspaper or just sitting there saying, you probably thought you saw what you saw, but you didn't see it. Put that Jedi mind trick on you. And you tell me you didn't see that? Oh, he could have, like that one officer, that one sheriff said, I think it was Derek Chauvin, one of the no, it was another one. It's in Atlanta, where that one dude went around killing Asian women, and the freaking sheriff literally said that the dude was having a bad day. And come to find out, that sheriff was a Trump supporter and he was a Nazi sympathizer. But they still look the other way. Like, you see this happen.
You know how shitty of a person you got to be where in 2022, Nazi is still a thing. Skinhead, I can understand. But that's just white folk. That's just white Nazi. But Nazi. Really? Was that like the deal with the whole Holocaust? They acknowledged the Holocaust, but y'all still let people acknowledge Nazis? Is that the deal? So is that what black folk got to do? We get them to acknowledge slavery, but we also got to acknowledge that we come from slaves. We can't go using that island shit, and we got to be honest about that island shit because you slaves. Gotta be honest. Your last name ain't supposed to be fucking Johnson. Come on now.
You preaching up but the truth, but let's go ahead and continue on this video.
It also creates a new federal criminal law which criminalizes willfully causing bodily injury or attempting to do so with firearm, or other dangerous weapon when, 1, the crime was committed because of the actual or perceived race, color, religion, national origin of any person, or 2, the crime was committed because of the actual or perceived religion, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, gender identity, or disability of any person, and the crime affected interstate or foreign commerce or occurred within federal, special, maritime, and territorial jurisdiction. There are 3 subsections in here that he lays out. Y'all are looking at the subsections. I'm slowly going through this because, Reese, it is crazy to listen to these people who have read nothing, who refuse to read anything, who continue to advance this lie that, oh, the Asians got a bill. The Asians got a bill. They don't even know what the hell's in the bill. Oh, the Asians got, the bill has money just for the Asians. No, it doesn't. And they go through this, and then you take these simple Simons who run with it, and they advance it on social media. And then I even had one person come at me and say, in one of those, I think it was in that Twitter space with Luke, why can't we get a anti-police? This is no lie, Reese. He literally said, why can't we have an anti-police bill that only applies to black people?
Now, to concur with what
Because
Roland,
no other fucking rule it applies solely to one race, gender, or nationality or origin of birth in respect to America. Because we pride ourselves off the selling point of being the fucking melting pot. So
right? And so
yeah,
to concur what you were saying and concur with Roland saying. I've been saying this on the show because I'm gonna meet y'all in the middle that believes this. I'm gonna meet you in the middle. So let's say we do have a bill that's only toward us, geared toward us. Who gonna pass it? What people that have the same mindset as yourself is gonna push it?
what other race is gonna say, all right, I'm cool with this black bill? Fuck the white people. What other color in the crayon box is gonna be cool with that?
Right. And so these are things you have to ask yourself, does this literally make sense? On paper, it may sound perfect, but when it's actually done in action, you're like, oh shit. Yeah, we didn't thought it through. But the point is, who in the world is going to vote that in? And I'm here to give you the answer. Nobody. Because even to meet your criteria, to meet you in the middle of the road, say it could happen tomorrow. Who in the world is going to push it? Y'all have to understand that federal, state, local are three different governments. Because whatever the federal wants to do, the state can modify it. Meaning, there's a one thing in the middle. I wish Billsy was on here because you understand what I'm saying. This. I'm not saying that you don't, Beast, but we have a saying where when anything comes down, we can add, but we can't take away. So, meaning, if let's say this bill, let's just use what's happening with abortion. Already, majority of the southern states have already had anti-abortion laws already in place. They was waiting for it to be overturned. So when that shit happened, the laws came to effect. But then you got places like here in Washington that was like, no, we're going to obey the law, but statewide, we allow abortions. We're going to continue funding Planned Parenthood. We're going to fund organizations like that. We're going to continue to do all the things we've been doing to help support abortion. And people don't understand that because remember, majority of the right is saying states' rights only when it pertains to them and their freedoms. But when you got states like Washington that's standing up for themselves and saying that we are supporting abortion, now all of a sudden states' rights not being heard no more. Now it's Marxism, there's this, is that. But that's for a different story. What I'm saying is, when it comes to freaking reparation, I'm taking a step further, BC, and I'm probably doing too much. I'm taking a step further. Let's say they did pass it. Let's say they did pass a bill. Let's say they passed it. Let's say it passed with flying colors. Let's say it got over 200 votes in the House of Representatives, went up to the Senate, and it got a 50-50. Kamala Harris put the hammer down, said that this bill has passed. Because anybody who don't understand about politics or understand about how the Senate works, when it's a 50-50, meaning 50 Republicans, 50 Democrats are in the lockstep with the bill, the vice president is the deciding vote. He or she, which in this case, she, Madam Vice President Harris, is the one that decides bill pass. And now it goes up to President Biden. Now it's really up to him if he signs it into law or he vetoes it. Let's say that he signs off on it. Sleepy Joe, who's not too far away from sleep, eyes wide open, signs it. But here's the kicker. Remember all those 21 southern states that I told you that said that they already had anti-abortion bills already ready? They was ready for it to be overturned so they could push it into law? Let's change that to anti-reparation laws. So president
You
just signed
you ain't getting none of my Southern money.
basically. This is not even chess or checkers. This is poker. Y'all have to understand, we're not living in a world where, oh, you playing chess, you playing checkers. In chess, I can see your move. I can predict the
I
moves.
can gauge up to 5, maybe if I'm smart enough, 10 steps ahead of you.
Right.
But in poker, I could bluff my ass out of a shitty hand.
There you go. That's the point. That's the point, Beast. We've been bluffed all of our lives, to our ancestors to now. We've been bluffed when we had the winning hand, where we had the freaking royal flush. Nothing beats a royal flush. Nothing.
And we gave it up because we believe this motherfucker had better cards than us.
Oh, nothing beats a royal flush, and we got bluffed out of that when we had all the money. But the house bluffed the fuck out of us, and we gave it all away because we thought that they had a hand bigger than ours, and we're forgetting because we're so deep in the game, we forgot that nothing beats a royal flush. Nothing beats a royal flush. But they beat us with a crappy ass 3 of clubs and the 4 of hearts. Had nothing. So when it comes to this, because you gotta think about the long ball. You gotta think about what's gonna, when it's later in the game, when it's the fourth quarter, are we in a position to win? And if we're winning, when do we let off? But at the end of the day, it's all about, are we going to be in a good position to win? So what I'm saying is, even if we had people up in Congress, or y'all people had your people up in there in Congress that pushes this up here, let's say you pressure the Democrat Party to do it, you still got these southern states or states that have that same mindset, like, no, nigga, you ain't getting no money. You ain't getting, like what you said, Beach, you ain't getting none of this southern money. You ain't getting none of this state money. Nope. Unless Biden's gonna give it to you himself, you ain't getting it from me. And this is why
Dave Chappelle, when he said it, play for your freedom, nigga.
Yeah. This is why local politics is so freaking important, because that's where the influence and the power comes from. And then when you got the local on lockstep, then you go to the state, because then you can fight back whoever is proposing this type of legislation for you not to get your reparations. And if you get the right amount of people to fight back, veto the freaking, well, not veto, but take away the power or freaking impeach the governor. Yes, the governor can be impeached too. And impeach the governor and challenge him, take it to a Supreme Court. Then we're talking. But see, y'all going to the top thinking that it's going to trickle down to the bottom, which is not. Because the states is going to water that shit down. That shit down, or they're going to put some restrictions on it so that you won't get your reparation, which for some reason Republicans is going to do the Jedi mind trick like they've been doing and say that the Democrats' fault, and y'all going to pretend Republicans don't exist.
It'll because, like I said, because of 23andMe, it took them this long to legalize weed, and I always said they'll legalize weed when they figure out a way to tax. That's all they're mad at. They never figured out a way to tax across the board. Once they figure out a tax across the board, you'll see motherfuckers legalize. They legalized in Colorado, but that fuck up with the early sets of taxes showed them that people will invest in that shit, so we can get away with Like in North Carolina, it's a 7% sales tax. So they legalize weed, they can get away with bumping up sales tax 2, maybe 3% over the 10% sales tax to supplement the incoming industry, phasing out old industries because they're phasing out meth all over here. So North Carolina's an agricultural state, they're about to start growing weed over here because the government figured out how to get their cut off legally without getting caught up years later on a snowfall streaming show.
Wow. This is
That's
true.
going to be, it's always been the same. Once they find a way to get their cut, they'll go through no problem.
Mm-hmm. But see,
But
that's
with
like,
reparations, once they realize a way to defend a number, they're gonna go by all the perceived acknowledged American black or black African Americans currently in the United States. They're gonna take that number and they're gonna find a respectful percentage that gives them, a comfortable percentage of that total mass, while offsetting it with their people. Because most white folk are descendants of black. So using these damn DNAs, they will figure out how low can we go to include white people and how high can we go to make sure we don't pay all these so-called niggas.
Yeah.
But we pay enough to where the bulk of you niggas is satiated, and the ones that don't get no money, y'all most likely in a situation that is for these 2 other reasons. You ain't do the right paperwork. I'm sorry, but your mama and your daddy were hoes. Your grandma and your granddaddy before them was hoes. I'm sorry, y'all got mixed blood. What the fuck you want me to tell you, mother?
Man, that's the only thing I can say is man. But let's continue on this video. And Beast, I agree with every single thing you just said. But let's get back into it.
You know, this is like insanity. And I mean, to Dr. Carr's point, there is a righteous indignation. There's a righteous grievance that Black people have within this country, the way that we are mistreated. Black people are still the #1 victims of hate crimes in this country. So there is a righteous grievance with the way that we are constantly attacked, whether it be by the police state, whether it be by hateful monsters and people like the Buffalo shooter. That part is righteous. That part is valid. What's not valid, I love the way Dr. Carr said miseducation, is the disinformation and misinformation campaigns that are targeting and exploiting the pain and the trauma and the violence against Black people to keep us dumbed down, dissuaded from doing anything to improve the situation and trying to fight battles that our ancestors have already damn won. And it's not even right to say ancestors, because a lot of those people are still living. Diane Nash, Fred Gray, people who were just awarded with the presidential presidential medal last week. Okay. These people are still here, and it's disrespectful to their legacy and to the battles that have been won to disregard that. The blood that was shed for James Byrd Jr. was horrific. And for the people that say that Obama never did anything for Black people, the Matthew Shepard and the James Byrd Jr. Act was under President Obama. Okay. And for people to say, well, they just gave the Blacks something so that they can give the gays something, that's ignorant as fuck. That's embarrassing that you actually believe that a Black man dying in and of itself isn't justification for saying we need to expand the hate crimes protections that we have. So what happens with us, and this is something that the Mueller report detailed, this is something that Vice President Kamala Harris has talked about, this is something that is well documented. There are chaos campaigns that target Black people, not so that we can be converted one way or another, because the common thread from these chaos agents is that I'm nonpartisan. I don't like the Republicans either. But they know that their charge is to get Black people to...
Bam. Beast, before you say anything,
Yes,
I
sir.
think I feel my spirit at the same time. But go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I think I know what you about to say because I think we on the same wavelength on this. But go ahead.
I agree with her up until the passionate parts of her rhetoric, and you can kind of surmise what those points are. But to paraphrase another movie, is a character that you don't understand until you get grown. I am an agent of chaos. Simple, effective. Now, she is right in that aspect. What she doesn't fail to realize is to cause true chaos, there's a heightened level of psychological warfare that must go into play. I can hit you all I want to in the same spot continuously for an extended amount of time. Once I stop, enough time will pass where you will heal from that attack, heal from those wounds, and be left with minimal to no scar. But if I add certain comments and just fucked up actions while I'm punching you repeatedly in the same spot, like your whole, why you hitting yourself? Why you hitting yourself? Quit hitting yourself. Come on, man. What are you doing? Why would you just hit yourself? Oh my, what is wrong with you? What is wrong? Why you hate yourself so much? Why you just force this person to slap themselves silly? And of course they're gonna try to resist, but if they're not strong enough or skilled enough, then it's just adding on to the disrespect and the abuse. And that type of shit, if you can't tell from my explanation, that shit don't die so easy. Spoiler alert, yes, I've been a victim, a recipient, and participator in that action on both ends. So I understand. So what you really got to understand, to really fuck with black people, if this is true, it's never going to be systematically designed and presented as a law or a ruling or a change in order for one particular facet or one particular demographic. It will never fucking be that way. The three strikes law was never presented. No verbiage whatsoever is found in there that could definitively say that this law was created to heighten and intensify the probability of black men going to jail and staying in jail for the bulk of their adult lives to their entire life. It was never written that way. Damn show played out that way. Mm-hmm. But nobody can ever truly fix their mouth to say that it was written that way. And that's how a lot of these rules are done today. Yes, they do affect us. Yes, they do cripple us, but they're not presented that way. And on the opposite end, there are a lot of rules and laws out there that are a benefit to us, but they're not presented as being a benefit to us due to the creation of it.
Right.
We said earlier, Megan's Law with Amber Alert. Those had to do with little white girls. But as a result, all children of all races, including black, are protected. Yeah. And the system is in play when their lives are in danger. So come on now, use your fucking brain.
Right, and
I don't know what the hell they.
And I was right. Me and your spirit was like right there, man. Because the thing is, I think we live in a culture where they just, if it's not happening to me directly, it's not happening at all. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, let's say everybody's getting their what's those checks we got during COVID? I forgot.
Stimulus.
Huh?
Stimulus.
I'm trying to forget.
Stimulus. Your tax advance.
Yeah. I want my stimulus check. Yeah, there you go. And so it's like you getting your check, but I haven't received mine yet. So now I'm like, you know what? Fuck this place. They don't care about me. They don't care about my family. And then the next thing you know, you wasn't checking your damn mailbox. You wasn't even checking it because you're in COVID and they tell you to stay in the damn house and you didn't even thought to even go outside to check your mailbox. And I think it's an issue is with our people is we say these things that's not happening to us directly, but we don't read or do the proper research on why is it so? Why is this going on? You know, let's say with the stimulus, let's say you're supposed to like send a go on this not army gov, but like this government website where you have to put in your address or say that this is my actual address that you can send it to. See, people are so worried about the end game that they don't know the stipulations to get to the end game, the other steps that goes with it. Now, look, I'm at fault at it. When I just got new mics over the past weekend, and one thing that I learned, and I've been doing this since I've been small, is I would take it out and I pretty much look at the box. And sometimes I don't even look at the box. I can pretty much like guesstimate what needs to go here, what needs to go there. Fortunately, it worked out to the plan. But then with other things that I try to do that with, it does not work. Because even though it looked like the box, but when I try to work it, it don't work. Because there's a thing called a manual. And how many times, come on, Beach, let's be for real, us men, how many times us men read a manual when it comes to putting something together or building something?
By read, he means we actually look at the steps before looking at the illustration. That is what he means by it. Because most men will grab the manual. In the case of brothers like me, we just looking at the fucking pictures. We're not even reading the shit.
Right, and that's my point. I'm looking at the pictures. If it's not looking like the picture, I could care less. But then once you have your old lady, like I got mine, she like to read, and I kind of look like a freaking fool because I'm like, shit. Like maybe I need to read it, but thank goodness I got you to do it. So with that example, I'm not saying for us when we are griping and complaining about laws not being for us and it seemed like it's hurting us the most, that anger is legitimate. But it also comes down to us to understand what the laws is. And not saying that this law is pertaining to go against Black people. I will say this. It is how they write it up in there. Like I said, the war on drugs is an excuse to go after Black people. Look what happened to the freaking Black Panther or any groups like theirs other than the Nation of Islam, but that's for a different story. That's for a different show. Look at how they infiltrated them.
Blood sacrifice.
And so the war on drugs was just another name for let's get all the niggas or anybody associated with them. Because remember, Hoover said, Edgar Hoover, he literally said that the worst thing that can happen in this country is Black people coming together. I'm paraphrasing. It's Black people coming together.
Fuck that cross-dressing frame.
And so
you have to
right. So you have to put all this into an account where you're like, yes, it is hitting us the hardest. They don't have to just put, well, this is streaming for Black people. We just put this as in law and then we go after you for it. But it's up to us to read that law because even though the law gives them the power to do it, there's also within those same laws that they're going overboard. Like I like this one YouTube channel where this one brother, he's in Florida, where he records the police and knowing that they're doing something wrong, he's already on it. Penal code section, Penal code 750 dash paragraph. Like in the military, we all about regulations.
Like I think they call auditors, like state auditors.
And he's on it. Penal code say that you can't do that to that man. And the officers don't even know the law. And see, that's the thing. Now, people say knowledge is power, and I always say knowledge is only power if you use it. That right there is using it. Don't stop at knowledge is power. No, knowledge is power when you use it. That brother records every freaking interaction with the police down there and get him every time. And the police officer says, no, no, no. And he said, no, well, the penal code said ... You're supposed to be the officer of law. I'm not expecting you to know every penal code, but you should know something of it. So, and the thing is, every video he has, he will have the penal code either in the freaking bio, or he will have it on the screen when it's going on. Because obviously he puts his own videos together, and he will have the penal code right there. So our folks need to get on it like that. We need to start reading these laws and freaking understanding and calling people out like, no, this is wrong. This is not what the law says. This is not what the law says. This is what the law says. Even your state laws. Because remember, not all federal laws the state will follow. Remember, they can add on, but they can't take away. So you also got to be up on your state law, including your local the same way too. They will do the same as that thing. So make sure you know your local laws, so you're not getting caught up in the crossfire. And you can tell the judge, be like, well, judge, well, penal code ... You can see on the body cam, I said these things. He didn't comply. You can't go against that judge because you uphold your stature. You uphold your hand to uphold the laws of the land, as well as for this state, as well as for this county, whatever he or she's representing. So you can't sit there and have the same excuse like him, be like, no, I didn't see it. No. Because, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell y'all something. Wink, wink. Judges can be impeached too. They're not above the law, even though they're supposed to uphold the law. Y'all can freaking impeach them too and get them fired. It doesn't take an act of Congress to do that. Just saying. But let's go ahead and continue more with this.
McDonald's ice cream machine is supposed to work. McDonald's ice cream machine is supposed to work. Don't mean you can't go in there and complain if you don't know that before you order one.
Right. Look at McDonald's. Mm-hmm. Every time you go up in there, hey, can I get a McFlurry? The machine's broke. But you already knew that they're going to say that answer the same time, every time. But crazy story. I think you probably heard this, B. Somebody was actually suing McDonald's $80 million for their broken ice cream machines, which is crazy.
Yeah. After a certain level of
pushing that.
Especially, all you really got to do is just save a shitload or a respectable amount of McDonald's receipts from your time and just claim that these are the days that you specifically went in there to order something just because you were already in line, or these are orders that you asked for along with the ice cream and it was not there on the day, to show the consistency in time.
Because guess what?
That's what you gotta do if you really want to be that petty about it.
And people don't understand false advertisement. You could get sued for that. If you keep advertising the McFlurry and advertising the Sunday, and
if you don't let it acknowledge it beforehand. I worked in retail. You gotta let the phone know ahead of time, even if it don't apply to them. Just in the event somebody behind them is gonna come in, you just say they're in trouble of asking for it. But you gonna have to repeat yourself. I repeat myself. So I'm sorry, but the machine is out for the day. No shakes. Yeah, let me get a large smoke shake.
Mm-hmm. You gotta let them know ahead of time. Gotta let them know. Or if the machine just broke, that's why they always put that little notice on the freaking on the little drive-through on the little machine right there. Sorry, no ice cream. It's not. It wouldn't even be that. It could be the freaking. Let's say they ran out of oil for the fries.
Make
No fries.
man, whatever the issue is.
Mhm. I mean, just little stuff like that. But let's go ahead and get to his video, and then after we close out right here, we gotta head up to Beast Community. But let's go ahead and just sum this up real quick.
Not vote at all. And when that happens, you are not affecting any kind of change. You're just sounding stupid as fuck on the internet, complaining about something that we don't even have to complain about because that's already done. And I would like to add that under this administration, there has been millions of dollars for the first time to solve anti-lynching cases. It's called Emmett Till cold case money. It's millions of dollars that they put towards that. Who do you think were the victims of those lynching cases? It was Black people. We passed the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act after 200 attempts. So it's really crazy to me that people say, look at what the Asians got. The Asians got a bill. Why the Asians got something? The Black people ain't got nothing. Won't. And you sit up there and you ignore legislation that's so significant. It took 200 attempts to get passed, 200 times, 200 failed attempts to get passed. That was just filibustered by Rand Clam Paul in 2020 when everybody was out on the streets marching for George Floyd and Ahmaud Arbery. So we have to do better of actually recognizing the battles that we have in front of us. There are real battles. We have to get better at recognizing the battles that we've already won and actually channeling our energy in a way that's productive. And the last thing I want to say about this Asian bill, which is mind-blowing to me, that this is somehow the most significant bill in the history of Black social media, not the trillions of dollars that went into the American Rescue Plan, not the trillions of dollars that went into infrastructure, not the money for removing lead pipes, not the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, not I can go on down the line, not what's being done around homeowner appraisal bias, not what's being done around Black maternal mortality, et cetera, motherfucking et cetera. None of that is significant, but this so-called Asian bill is somehow the most significant bill, even though this so-called Asian bill has a period of 1 year. It was authorizing an expediter for hate crimes related to COVID for 1 year. So as we're talking about it, it's not even an issue. It's a non-motherfucking factor, as they would say on Basketball Wives. And y'all still talking about it and not all of the other things. We need to focus on the very real problems that we have. There are a lot of very real problems that we have in this country. Hate crimes legislation is not one of them. It's just not. We don't need a black bill. We already have the black bill, the Civil Rights Act, the James Byrd Jr. Act. What more do y'all want? We need to start actually maybe doing something so that people feel a little bit less emboldened to come in our communities and shoot our asses up. I'm not saying, rough justice, vigilante justice. And I'm not saying that the Buffalo people had to come. Now, I'm not blaming anybody, but what I'm saying is there are ways that we can put some fear in some heart that don't need to be written into legislation.
So, again, for the simple Simons out there.
What's that?
What's that? Who hurt her, or who in her immediate family is white? There's a lot of, there's too much passion to the point of like self-deprecating. Like either some white person really fucked you over, or you had one of them more DNA moments when you found out you had too much white that was comfortable for you in your blood, and you trying to make peace with that. I don't know which one it is.
It could be one of the two pieces. Yeah, I mean, she came with the fire. I mean, she's frustrated about this. I actually saw a couple of her tweets a long time ago. She was going at it with the Black Authority, which we actually had his content on the show and we critiqued that, and they was going at it back and forth. So yeah, she's pretty fed up. But like, let's get Roland's part, and then we're gonna wrap up on this piece, and then we're gonna head to Beast Community.
Who don't bother to read. And for all of y'all lying ass fools who say we ain't never had a bill for us. Do y'all know when that was the first federal hate crimes law?
Don't do it to him, Roland. Don't do it to him. Don't do it, brother.
The first federal hate crimes law was 1968. If this was, no, go back, come back. See, it was
Wasn't that around
1968.
yep.
See, if we were still doing TV One, News One now, I would say, Shelly, go to my iPad. And whenever I would say, Shelly, go to my iPad, that was an indication I'm about to get in somebody's ass. Now, again, for all of y'all simple Simon ass fools who listen to ignorant people, let me walk you through. And I'm sorry, y'all might be asking me, well, Roland, where are you getting your information from? JUSTICE.gov.
Right there.
Not Wikipedia. Justice.gov.
And I'm gonna stop it right there. So I'm gonna give my final touchdown. I'm gonna pass the ball to you. I looked at the comments for that video, and people were still going at Roland and the panel saying that, hey, brother, you out of touch and you sounding like a shield for the Democrat Party. My thing is, he never mentioned once about voting Democrat. I just think when we hear truth or that they're saying stuff that we know that is right, but we don't want to agree to it, we gonna say anything. Like Beast, let's say if you won the Grammy, and I've been saying that, man, your music ain't gonna win no Grammy, you won a Grammy. Like we was talking about earlier, I'm still gonna be like, nah, man, you ain't won that legitimately. You probably paid somebody off and all that stuff, knowing that you did the hard work, you had the sales, you had the recognition for it. Even your critics even said that this was the best album that they ever heard, and saying that majority of the songs, that say 9 out of 10 of your songs were commercial, like had commercial success. The most. Rather than me giving you your roses and congratulating you, I'm still hating like you didn't win a freaking award after all the shit that I'm saying. And this is the problem. To break down what Roland and the panel was saying, you cannot say nothing if you don't know the law or know what you're talking about. You just can't I can't sit there and say I'm a guru on hip hop when I don't know who Grandmaster Flash is. I don't know who Run DMC is. I'm sitting there saying Kodak Black is or saying that Lil Wayne is the greatest rapper to ever live. But you had rappers like Big Daddy Kane. You had rappers like freaking Kumo D. And I know they all New York rappers, I'm saying, but look at freaking Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, Tupac, Mac Dre, rest in peace, E40, freaking help me out. Even people don't even go back to Outkast when they first got started. Give Trick Daddy his freaking role.
Give Luke his role.
Yeah, Uncle Luke. Put Master P in that category. Mystical.
Give him any name that you heard of, seen on TV. Give them their role. They deserve some shit. And everybody before them deserved. Because if not, you wouldn't know who the fuck they were.
And we mentioned his name about a couple shows ago, Sugar Free. He don't get his damn rose, even though I know he don't want no damn rose. Ain't no sugar in his blood. But give that man his props. To me, he's the one that brought the pimp game to hip hop, because he was a pimp, still is a pimp. Who else can you say that literally was rapping about being a pimp and was a pimp? and still live that same lifestyle to
Right.
this day. Think about that. So what I'm saying is we can't go off the freaking mouthpiece when our thoughts and our minds and the knowledge that we have up here doesn't back it up. It's what I'm saying. Or if you just read a book about how the freaking sun works, you know, the properties of the sun and everything, does not make you an expert. So yes, a lot of things that are happening is not affecting you directly. And then you got some things that's affecting you directly. But see, that's when you need to do your research over me search on notable certified sources, reliable sources, not sources that pertains to how you feel or what you think is true. Look it up. Period. And that's the problem with us. We see all this mess happening to us, but nobody chooses to actually read the damn law or get with somebody that knows the law. Even though I was saving that for my openings, for my final thoughts, I just wanted to say that. Just to sum up all they were saying, because y'all may not like the content, not take that back, Ron back Morris. Because justice.gov, no matter how y'all feel about the government, guess what? The government is still defending your damn freedoms, number one. Number two, you still got that job, right? Thank you, government, for not going in and infiltrating my job. Number three, I get to do all these things that I want. Thank you, government. Even though that the Medicare shit is all effed up, but whatever's good with it, thank you, government. You need your new tags on your freaking license plate when they come due annually. When you pay it, you get those new tags to put up on there. Thank you, government. When your roads are effed up, guess who go out there and fix them? You're not going to fix it now, are you? Thank you, government. So as much as I know that the government does wrong, sometimes we need to start praising the government for what the things they do right. Not because it's their job. Appreciate the damn government, because if it wasn't for the government, or how everybody says we need a smaller government, which is one of the most dumbest, one of the most stupid, asinine arguments ever. Without government, this place will be in chaos, period. And then also, not even in chaos, because then those groups have to have a hierarchy. You have to have a chain of command. It's basically giving, tell me that you're the government without saying you're the government vibes. And people, y'all have to understand that. Because one thing that hip-hop, definitely these new hip-hop stars that's coming through the ranks, and Rick Ross kills me with this. He said, you know, bosses hang around bosses, and we move and all that stuff. Even the 5 families with the mafia, there was one head of the family. And this was supposed to be all the families working together, but they had one family that ruled everything. Everything had to get through them. Why you think they folded?
Every family has a head.
Right. Because everybody wants to be at the top. And I'm not saying thanks to the government, with us having the government, because the government's doing what it's supposed to do. Let's make that clear. The government's doing what it's supposed to. All the laws and regulation. Like I was trying to tell somebody, it's not the government's fault for how it's running. It's the people that is put in there that's how it's running. And I'm not talking about federal. I'm talking state and I'm talking local. But if you don't even know the damn laws and you sitting there bitching, moaning, complaining about it, you need to start reading. You need to start doing your research. when you know that you getting pulled over, you know it's wrong. You better know the damn law, or at least look it up later to be like, because you know you can challenge a ticket. Because if you come correct, and you can
If
say
you're
that penal
smart.
code, right, and you can come correct to that DA, to that police officer, say, well, the penal code said dot 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 dot, and he did dot 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 dot. And then also you can ask for the body cam and watch that video with the judge. Or if you already have freaking, because now people recording, you can use that video. And according with penal code and according to this video I got right here, that didn't happen. And you will win that case. But see, people won't understand that because we get in our feelings. It's funny. The people, those same people that sit there and say, well, you're a Democrat and all them losing, you and your feelings. And y'all get in y'all feelings when people put y'all out on Jump Street too. So me casa, su casa. But yeah, I'm rambling on. But go ahead. What's your 5 points on this piece?
Well, my final point in community thought overall would just be that folk need to take the time to understand that shit, your feelings don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. And because everyone feels the same. No matter how you feel, somebody can feel that way equally and make a even more passionate, call to arms for their emotions. So just always remember that. Your emotions don't mean shit. Especially if they're not being a benefit. And that also means understanding that not every action deserves to be acknowledged. I personally never deal with nobody when I'm emotional and when they're emotional, no matter who's at fault. I like to make sure whatever the issue is discussed like adults. And I know for me, I'm a short fuse and I got a big mouth. And I stand on everything I say. So me emotional, it can lead to a clusterfuck. If I fuck around and get caught in my feelings, I say some outlandish shit. If you try to call my bluff, you'll be holding my beer.
Man.
So let's be mindful, remember these things.
Ain't that the truth?
That's my point, man. I'm good for these.
But we do got to head over there to the community beach. What you got on tap for us?
Like I said, I'm gonna keep it short and sweet. So my final point was gonna be my community output because they ain't really listening right now anyway. And we need to start weaning them in like an IV drip, especially moving forward with the Roe versus Wade and everything else. So my community points is really gonna be for the women to help them move forward and understand how they need what things they need to not worry about and what things they need to add more urgency to. But I ain't gonna be able to talk all that. So we're gonna keep it short and come back with a more structured voice.
I got you.
There's gonna be too much Kevin Samuels right now if I say it.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, I feel it's Kevin Savage from you when you said all that. But other than that, everybody get in the car. Don't you touch anything. It is time for us to head.
I've always been the type of person that takes everything into consideration. Because I'm observant and I can only take it from my perspective, try to make sure I'm properly informed before I move forward. So I move in the best foot forward, so to speak. So like I said, when dealing with this new understanding and sentiment between the sexes, I just really want folks to understand how stupid it is at the end of the day And what kind of thought process gives you the right to feel something that inane and just other redundant? And I'm trying to be nice here because I'm befuddled by seeing the video of the young woman that took 18 of her friends. She presented a birthday group meal with 18 of her friends that all co-signed, but presented the same time and area to a dude as a solo singular date in the hopes that this man would pay for her birthday girls' night out. Ma'am, darling, honey child, my sweet dear, I don't know who should have swallowed or who should have shot you off in the top, or at least down the toilet, because you's a waste of human existence. If you really fucking thought that your physicality, your allure, your je ne sais quoi, your wow was so superb, you would convince one man in this day and age, 2022 AD, you would convince said man without prior acknowledgement to not only take you out, which would already run him upwards of a paycheck or rent, but also for that your almost 24 friends. Look, even if I liked the bitch and I had a great work week, so I got a little extra money to burn, got a little extra money to trick off. At most 2 of your homegirls, and that takes prior knowledge, and it better be some bitches I know. We all better be fucking mutual friends. And it's pretty much acknowledged at this point, this ain't no date. This is a group out. So me, yeah, I'll pay for dinner because 2 of y'all getting the bottles and 1 of y'all getting the drugs. Y'all figure that out amongst each other. As long as y'all agree to that, then yeah, I'll pay for you. But 19 of y'all hoes all together? How dare you, man? You uncouth vagabond of a harlot. You simple-minded Jezebel. You dumb hoe. Bitch, ain't nobody pussy out there that fucking good. And and I can't even question even if, because I feel like the stars, I feel there's no way another man, another male species, hell, or a sensible fucking woman is going to allow that purchase to transpire. You think me as a man, hell, I could be the gayest brother in the world. You think my hypothetical gay ass is gonna sit here and let this nigga get simped by fucking 19 women? This ain't a goddamn field trip. I am not your daddy. This is not Chuck E. Cheese. It's not Celebration Station. I'm not fucking going go-kart. I'm not taking you to a goddamn girls' mall trip. No. That's some shit you do for children. Pay for that many people because it's a birthday, something you do for children. Bitch, you is grown. You spent money yourself to get to that point. You really think that man was going to do? I've never really been one for violence, especially against women. But there's moments like this that you start to understand them old pimp sayings like shit, she can use 5 across the aisle. Cause that's some of the silliest shit I've ever heard. And for you to sit here and try to argue with that, just fills me with rage person. Knowing that at least 7 of your homegirls is trying to hype your ass up too. So now I'm just insane. No. Man, that makes no fucking sense. You just ask for trouble. Why would you put yourself in this situation? And it's going to get recorded. So now we all know. So now men are going to be extra due diligent when even considering the inclination of the desire to want to take this half out. Because I got to make it clear and have a backup just in case this bitch tries some stupid slick shit on the fly and try to oops and meet over her homegirl and her homegirl. No, we're not doing none of that. Because you got women out here trying to do this shit. And even if it ain't true, the fact that you are presenting it to that level of sincerity and authenticity just for views is even more fucking tragic. And I'm a whore for attention. Come on, goddamn. I just don't know what y'all really want anymore. All I can ask as a fellow human on this earth, since we all want to be transparent, just let that shit be known up front or get a little laminate, get some fucking business card with bullet points of who the fuck you are and what the fuck you want from people. No matter if you like them, know them, want to know them, work with them, or trying to fuck them or fuck them over. Don't matter. Just give us a fucking heads up. Because this stupid shit right here is only going to lead to a spike in aggression and distance amongst the sex, especially within the black community. We got enough bullshit to worry about trying to get back together versus silly ass shit like this. So come on now, people. Let's be better. Ladies, let's be more honest with ourselves. And no matter what we desire, if we're not willing to accept and acknowledge certain standpoints and standards in order to see that dream or wish fulfilled, then the dream or the wish ain't even worth having. I don't care if you don't like it, you need to be said, you know it's true. Cry 2 tears in the bucket, fuck it. That, I thank y'all for coming by and dealing with this rant. If it's stung, then well, then maybe you need to take a look in the mirror. Do some soul searching. But the truth only hurts when it needs to. Y'all can continue to come on by, and I'll see you again next time. I yield the smoke. Y'all lock the door behind.
I had to go in and get my hoodie. So my final thought is this. To sum up all the things, because I went on the rant before going to the final thought. People, get in politics. Understand what you're talking about. Understand your surroundings. Understand your community. Stop sitting there blaming the top. Because it doesn't make no sense yelling at the rooftop when everything at your level is just as important. We have to understand if we want to get power or anything, this is not only just, with politics. We talk about politics even in your workplace. If you don't get the right people around you, like-minded people around you, getting them or getting yourself into positions of power and moving that up to the ranks, you ain't gonna get nowhere. Look at all the mobster movies. You think Capone just got into power because he was just some good freaking chauffeur? Because that's what he started as. He was just a driver. but he hung around people that was like-minded like him, and he took them up in the ranks with him. People just don't be powerful just to be powerful. They get with people that's having the same struggle as them. Now, I understand that old saying where they say, well, misery loves company. But let me tell you this. What happened? That company has the same gripes as you and say, we're going to do something about it. We're not going to tell nobody, but we're going to do something about it. And come up with a plan. This month, you're going to be employee of the month. You're going to be employee of the month. All right, cool, fine. Then next month, you're going to be employee of the month. As long as our people are becoming employee of the month, we're doing something. But now let's go a step further. Promotions. If we get those people in the right positions, because when our time is coming, we got the people in motion that can get us those spots. And that's how it's supposed to work. But then also we have to do our due diligence and read into the laws, read into the new policies that are coming out, not from only federal level, not only just state, but also in your local community. We just can't keep sitting by and saying we're not getting anything. We don't know what you're getting. So I'm sitting there listening to majority of these YouTubers. I consider myself a YouTuber, but I do have the show that's syndicated on YouTube. But the thing is this, do your research. Like I always tell everybody, I'm telling you, do your research. Don't always take people's word for it, even if it's true. Do your research and go into research with the unbiased mind. And always know that you're going to learn something new, even when you're wrong or even when you're correct, that you're going to learn something. But we cannot sit here, moan and complain and say that the government don't love us, the government don't listen to us, when we don't do our due diligence to change it. When we don't have the people that think like us in position of power, or have people in your local positions, because that's where it starts. That's why they call it grassroots. And I'm gonna say it once again, like I did in the middle of the show, when it comes to President Biden. President Biden just didn't come to prominence because he became a senator. No, he started probably as a lawyer. Majority of these politicians either started as a lawyer or started as a DA. That's where they got their breaks from. And then they got into politics or activism. I don't want to take that away. Activism, which we should have a lot more activists being politicians, because they do the work in their freaking communities, which it blows my mind they're not in politics or have people that think like them in politics. Now is the perfect time. Because I already told y'all, protesting ain't gonna work. And y'all listen to these so-called black conscious groups up in the freaking YouTube, ain't gonna work neither. The new black media has been failing the black folks for a long periods of time. They have been failing us. Well, failing y'all. They ain't been failing me, because I don't listen to not one word they say. Because if what they're saying is not pushing the needle of the politics for black people, or pushing policies, or pushing legislation into law, or actually calling out people that need to be called out, then they're no different than my show. And they're not actually boots on ground with the issues and problems that are going on that they criticize the mainstream media for, which the mainstream media, got to give them credit, they're there on boots on ground reporting about it. Already got reporters down there. If they're not doing that, they're doing you a disservice. Because the same thing y'all criticize me, who actually is a progressive, and I'm not ashamed to say that I'm a Democrat, sitting there saying these things of See, they didn't tell you what they're gonna do and how you feel. You know, you vote for Biden and all that stuff. You in your feelings when we come at you, but y'all getting your feelings when we come at you when we sit there saying, "What have y'all done?" Y'all talk about Malcolm X, and still praise Mr. Farrakhan when the Nation of Islam kicked Malcolm X out, but y'all still praise the Nation of Islam. Make that make sense. Even though I got my own, even though I'm not a conspiracy theory guy, but that's for a different show. But y'all not pushing the needle neither. So what I'm telling y'all, to get involved in your politics, go to your town hall meetings, go to your student teacher conferences. If you don't like the laws and policies that's going on in your local community, it's time for you to get off your ass and figure out when's the next town hall is going to be. Don't just go up in there because something racial or something big happens. No, you should be up in there every meeting. Could be a meeting for funding for, you know, the festival that's going to happen locally that you like, no, I don't want to have it happen. I mean, all sorts of things. You should be in those meetings. You should be holding those committee members accountable, as well as voting. Because if you don't vote and don't get into politics, guess what? You're just another citizen that doesn't do their civil duties as an American. And I said what I said. And that would do it for me. I'd like to thank Cheddar Boy Popcorn for sponsoring the show. And also a big shout out once again to these great folks here that I met today. Look them up. Yeah, look them up on Instagram. Look them up on Facebook. But Beast, any other alibis you have?
Nah, I'm good for right now. I should be good for the week. At least when it comes to Monday. Rest of the week is we'll be in talk.
I got you. And with that being said, I am outro. As for my dog, my bra, Beast Johnson. Good seeing you, my man. One thing I want to ask you though. One thing I wanted to ask you. How is your music coming?
I actually got a lot of stuff in the work right now. Just linked up with a new producer by the name of Hank Too Raw out of Colorado.
Okay.
So I'm actually in the process of working out a EP with him, with his production. And I'm actually be going to the studio next month.
Well, boom. Look out for Beast. He got that music. He got that fire coming out. And with that, all that being said, thank y'all for tuning in. This has been another edition of Hashtag Fade to Black. Me as your host, Donnell Watson Morris. Thank y'all for tuning in. Don't forget to like and share this show. Thank you so very, very much. We are out. We see y'all next Monday. Bye.
Yeah, I'm pippin', flippin', spittin' these lyrics. Got you feeling what I be saying like you caught the Holy Spirit now. I done went through some shit up in my past, but it fertilized my future. Now I'm harvesting my cash. I like 'em pretty, but they can't be hot, so did it. Talking like I'm gon' buy what you want, you think it's silly.